Like pixels on a screen, these are the games of our lives. It's the games of our lives, yo! And that's the games of our lives, Airhorn. Thank you, Airhorn. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing much better now that I have like 18 air horns introducing me.
Yeah. It's the official games of our lives, Airhorn, sponsored by Airhorn.
Oh, is that like a Xerox thing where the air horn company invented the
Yeah,
sound
it's
effect?
like a Kleenex chapstick sort of thing. Yeah, the Airhorn company is it's actually spelled Air HJORN because they're
I
Swedish.
would just say it must be Scandinavian.
Airhorn. So, Michael, what have you been playing this week?
So it was the Steam sale. It was, last week before that. So once I detoxed off of the clicker game,
Did you get into that? Because I logged into it each day, but I would usually just not check back in on it.
it was really bizarre. I got into it like once trying to figure it out, and I mean we could spend more time talking about it, but it's probably not worth it. Uh, it was just what was weird is you check your friends. You'd be on level like 87, and then you check your friends, and someone be on level like 348,000.
Yeah,
You'd
it
be like,
really
how the
depends.
hell does this game work?
It like each day it was sort of cumulative. You could buy bonuses up front, and if you had enough people like paying attention,
And yeah, buying. I finally figured out like, oh, wormholes are like cumulative, and that was how people were jumping like hundreds of levels at a time.
yeah, I would usually if I actually stayed with it for more than 2 minutes, I would just get a bunch of the treasure chests and then bump up my auto damage. So even when I'm not there, I'm doing something.
I pretty much did the same thing. All right, but anyway, I took the plunge on a game I didn't know much about. It's called Hand of Fate. Do you know anything about it?
That sounds like that weird PS3 card game with the PlayStation Eye camera. What was that? Eye of Judgment or something?
Oh, that's an interesting. I thought you were gonna make the obvious Manos Hand of Fate joke,
No, probably should
but
have. I'm a little
it is
sleepy.
it is not the novelization or not the video game version of that movie, unfortunately.
The game of the movie of the
Of the
novel.
novel, yeah. Although now I'm wondering what an MST3K game would be like. Unless I guess Telltale would make it, but I'm trying to think about how they maybe turn that into a third person shooter or something. Get
Yeah, there you
Activision
go.
on the phone. I'm sure they'll figure it out. Anyway, all right, so yeah, so it's called Hand of Fate, and it's funny you mentioned that PS3 card game because I guess the word hand. It is sort of a card combat uh, action adventure game. Basically, it's actually I guess it's a deck builder third person action game.
Interesting. So, like, one of those Kingdom Hearts Game Boy games.
Not quite. Although I have played those games actually, but it's more you're playing against the dealer, and there's an encounters deck, and most of the game is kind of there's a lot of random chance in it where you just pick one of four cards, and some are failure, some are success. And then the combat itself is just sort of generic third person hack and slash. It's got just enough variety that I'm not totally bored of it. Like I'm actually at the last boss. Basically, there's 12 face cards, and those are kind of the bosses you fight.
Okay.
But it's kind of a really simple, I guess like Arkham Knight slash Assassin's Creed system where you're basically smashing attack until the counter button pops up.
So it's that action sort of broken up by like a card battling.
Yeah. It's not necessarily card battling. It's more like you complete tasks. So basically, the encounters are random. They're dealt from a deck of cards, and as you complete challenges and beat bosses, you'll unlock equipment. So you have an equipment deck. That's your weapons, armor, all that, and then you have your encounters deck, and you actually can modify those. You can go through and you can add and subtract stuff. So that's where like the deck building part comes in. It's not the most in depth system. It's pretty simple, I would say, all around, but it's kind of a fun twist on what by itself would be a pretty boring hack and slash game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of it keeps it interesting. It's pretty fun. I think it was $25. It was 50% off in the Steam sale, and I really enjoy it. It's if you're into that kind of game, it's not so much if you're looking for like a good version of Dominion. This isn't it. There's not that much strategy. It's mostly pretty mindless, but
Okay.
sometimes that's all I'm looking for in a game, and this one definitely scratches that itch.
Yeah, and on sale, not bad.
Yeah, how about you? What have you been playing?
Well, in the Steam sale, I picked up Massive Chalice, and that game is the easiest way to describe Massive Chalice is to say XCOM plus eugenics.
All right, I'm in.
The big key difference in the tone is that whereas XCOM you feel really attached to your squad and you're sort of building them up and getting them their equipment, Massive Chalice really forces you to take like a long view, because the idea is that you're just trying to stave off an invasion for 300 years until the Chalice, which is magic, can magic away the bad guys, basically. So you are an immortal god emperor in charge of this land, trying to fight off this invading force. And you have mortal families at your disposal who produce babies and which grow up to be heroes, but they have normal lifespans, so they die like all the time. So
damn mortals.
So really, it teaches you to be dispassionate about the people that you're protecting. It's really an interesting contrast to an XCOM or similar like permadeath games where you grow attached to the people you're playing with as you play the game. Here, that attachment, there's not long enough for that attachment to form, and B, it's going to end very badly if you do grow attached to your heroes. So like maybe the most you can play with a hero if you get them when they turn 16 or whatever and you keep them alive is for like 3 or 4 battles or like 65 in-game years.
How many like minutes of game time would you say that is?
Well, I'm about halfway now and I've put a couple of hours into it. So the way it works is it's got basically a timeline, and you push a trigger and time just goes until something happens, and it goes pretty quickly at about a year every 30 seconds or so. So you just go until an important event happens, like a battle, or you have to make a decision, or somebody dies who is in an important place of power. The key gameplay loop outside of the tactical combat is you are marrying together families to produce new classes, putting together people so that they can make babies, which will grow up into be heroes.
Kiss.
Yeah, basically, you're marrying people. Like, you can marry... you can have same-sex couples, and they can adopt children. That is one of the options. But really, what you really want is to marry 2 strong people so that they make strong babies for
Obviously.
you. Because
so are you managing multiple families?
Yeah. Depending on how many keeps you put out. And you don't have to put out families at all. You can just sort of find new heroes, but that takes longer and longer every time. So by the end you will have heroes dying before you can replace them. So obviously you basically need a constant refreshing stock of heroes to fight off the battles.
Yeah, there are a lot of sentences here that are very awkward out of context.
I know, it is eugenics. I mean,
and they're like, come on, baby machine.
Basically, I mean, and there are other ways that you can. So basically, you have these hero characters, and you can use them for fighting. You can send them to like the researchers, and they will contribute to research, which is how you build keeps and research, upgraded armor and weapons. You can send them to the training grounds, meaning that they will take new babies that come out and train them so that their starting level is higher, which is what you really want because the battles get tougher as time progresses. So what you're trying to do is set yourself up so that when a baby is born, it will earn experience up until the point where you can actually use it in a battle, and it's more useful than heroes that you had previously. And this is sort of the cycle that you go through trying to make it through all 300 years. I haven't made it through a whole game yet, but it's very interesting.
So how quick does a game go, would you say?
As I said, I'm about halfway through and I've been playing for about 3 or 4 hours. So it's probably like a shorter run of XCOM, of an XCOM game, like that. I mean, it sort of comes in cycles and waves. Like I've had multiple times where I thought, this is not going to go well. I'm screwed. I only have access to one class right now. None of my families are spitting out kids, and then you get, you have a good run and you're good. And
you have to buy the Barry White upgrade.
Yeah, basically. Well, I mean, like, and there'll be non-combat scenarios that come up where, like, well, this family's having marriage troubles. What do you, the God Emperor King, have to say to them?
It's like, I like it. It's a God game / family therapist simulator.
Yeah, and it's a Double Fine game. It's Double Fine developed. It's got their sense of humor in there. The art style is really pretty, geometric, isometric, and the combat is while it is not very deep, it is very like tactical, and you can and it is deep in the right places. Like there's only 3 base classes, and you could sort of mix and match them to make new classes. So really, there's 6. All right, so
it's pretty cool.
Pretty satisfying. I would recommend it.
You would. All right, so this game is full release.
Yes, it is. It is fully done. It was kickstarted, but is fully
that's another
done now.
Sentence that is awkward out of context.
Yeah, it is a full, complete release. Very satisfying.
All right.
So
it takes 300 years to fill that chalice, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, so changing topics. What are you looking forward to, Chris?
Well, there's a couple of other stuff I bought during the Steam sale. I'm picking up your long O's with that bought.
O's. Okay.
Let's see. I picked up Sleeping Dogs, which I've heard is fun. Picked up Sunset, which is Tales of Tales. Weird 70s janitor simulator, I think. I did pick up Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes to get to whenever I get there, since it was on sale for like $9 or whatever. Cook Serve Delicious, which looks interesting.
I bought that game as well.
Yeah, and Final Fantasy 4. So.
Oh, okay.
What about you, Michael? What are you looking forward to?
Well, you know what? I bought a couple games too. Although, really, compared to other Steam sales, I was actually fairly restrained. I'm proud of myself.
Okay.
But I bought Westerado Double Barreled, which is that Adult Swim game.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's sort of like a pixel art Western shooter where you're looking for who killed your paw.
All right.
I took the plunge on Pillars of Eternity, although I haven't started playing that yet.
I'd be interested to hear what you think about that.
And also, Darkest Dungeon.
Oh, yeah. While it's still in early access,
it's still in early access. I think it was 25% off.
Yeah, that's...
it's a $20 game already, so it's not like that was a huge deal. But I just heard too many good things. So
yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that one, but I think I may wait till it is closer to release.
And that makes sense. I'm never gonna judge someone for waiting. I've been. Speaking of ill-advised decisions, I kickstarted the Castlevania,
the Bloodstained game.
Yeah, Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Oh man, they wouldn't have made it without you.
I know. They were only 5.7 million.
I'm guessing you were the one that bought the $10,000 Shenmue 3 jacket.
No, there were some ridiculous. There were some ridiculous the more expensive Kickstarter ones, but no, I did not kickstart Shenmue. I've never learned how to pronounce that word.
I think it's Shenmue.
Okay. No, I did not. Although I can't seriously call Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. It's always just like that Castlevania game. I
guess I don't have the legacy of Castlevania, so it doesn't really stick for me.
I don't I I played Symphony of the Night, although I wasn't really at the point in my life where I was really appreciating those kind of games, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I really where I really got into them was the Game Boy Advance games, which I think they came out with like two or three, and they're all crazy names that I can't remember. Like Harmony of Dissonance was one of them. It's basically like get open up a dictionary, pick two words, and then
pick a word
right,
and
guys.
then find its opposing word.
Yeah, that pretty much was exactly how they you crack the code for how Konami named these games. But I really enjoyed those games. This looks like more of the same. I don't know when that is. I have a habit of kickstarting games and then not even realizing I kickstarted them until like a month or two after they're out. I'm like, oh, I have a code for this game.
Yeah, so in 3 years, you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, kind of. That's kind of the way I see it. That's a gift for future Mike. But no, that's pretty much it for me. I am definitely curious about. I also bought Cook Serve Delicious, and I was gifted Earth Defense Force Insect Armageddon.
Oh, interesting. I've heard those games are campy as fuck.
I have like the first Earth Defense Force. Well, it's not the first Earth Defense Force, but the Earth Defense Force that came out for 360, was one of my favorite 360 games. Just in terms of just being fun.
Interesting.
I actually got it for the sequel, which is the Insect Armageddon, and it tries it. I think it kind of it knew it was campy, but it tried to be kind of too serious and add some actual like strategy and stuff. And I don't know, just so it lost its way, but it's still a really fun way to just kill bugs and kill lots and lots of bugs and make all your Starship Trooper jokes.
There you go. So the one sort of news item came up late this week was the Batman Arkham Knight PC port being a total unmitigated disaster from pretty much every perspective. And Warner Brothers pulled it from the Steam store, which is the first time I remember that happening for a game just being bad instead of being like a scam or copyright infringement.
Right, and the developer pulling it, and then this wasn't Valve coming down or anything.
And you know, you wonder if because it was probably getting so many refunds, Valve said, "Hey, you should probably pull this so that we're not, you know, losing money on this proposition."
So that's kind of interesting. I never really thought about it that way. So you do think this might be a side effect of the Steam refund policy?
I think it's a very good test case. I think it's good that the first real big, hey, everybody who bought this game, a lot of people are going to want a refund, is a AAA game and not an indie game. I think that's a very good test case for it, and I think that maybe I mean we'll never know, but you know, if Valve was taking a bath on the refunds and having to pass on those fees and stuff to Warner Brothers, Warner's like, we don't want to, just pull it for now. So I think it's a very pro-consumer thing, especially since Warner has a bad history of making very bad PC ports. So hopefully they fix it and it eventually comes out in a better state. But it's a very interesting case.
It's a really interesting precedent, and I'm definitely curious the next one that comes out. Maybe I know the Assassin's Creed has a notorious for this for poor PC ports at release.
Yeah, Ubisoft has a very bad history as well. And if Far and Cry are not in the title,
yeah, no, that's a good point. So I'll be curious if these developers kind of feel pressure to do the same, or if Valve can actually put that kind of pressure.
Yeah, it raises an interesting question because games that come out on consoles, while oftentimes are still broken, they do have to go through some sort of certification process. And games that come out on Steam do not, because Valve does not curate other than for content. It does not curate like compatibility because PCs are a many and varied thing.
Oh yeah, that would be a nightmare to the actual Q&A process.
Because like one of the big complaints about the Batman game is that it worked well enough on an NVIDIA card, but if you had an AMD card, you were just straight fucked.
Oh no, it's definitely interesting. I've have you gotten into the Arkham games?
I really liked Asylum and City. I did not play Origins, and I don't know if I'll play this one. I'm glad that I liked the Rocksteady games. Origins was not a Rocksteady game, but Arkham Knight is. So if it does eventually come out, if it's cheap one day, I might pick it up because I do like those Rocksteady games. So.
All right, cool. Anything else in the news?
No, I can't really think of anything. I mean, it's sort of a dry well now that E3 is
I was going to say,
done.
I'm
It's
sure.
going to be a fairly dry summer, so we'll be talking about old games probably a bunch. So thanks again for joining us for Games of Our Lives. If you like the show, go ahead and spread us around. That's the only way that the audience grows. I appreciate you. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there we go.
All right, yeah, it was I had a loose cable in my headset.
You're a loose cable.
You're a loose cable. You're off the force.